Now, according to the chat, most people in chat were suggesting that coL.qxc was going to be the victor in this series. Of course, it's early days at the moment. I would say the support is roughly 60-40 in favor of coL.qxc, who, of course, spawns at the left spawn of Shattered Temple in close-by air positions as the purple Terran. And down the bottom, as the yellow Zerg, we have coL.CatZ spawning, again, close by air, and he is going to be able to scout coL.qxc first due to the Overlord popping there straight away. So, potentially, we might see a little bit more of, I don't know, just a normal game would be really nice out of these guys at the moment. The last 3 games have been unorthodox, to say the very least. We started off with some very, very weird opening in the first game that I can't even put a finger on. Absolutely crazy, crazy game on Novice Steps of War, where players decided to rush and backdoor, and it got a little bit silly. And then, of course, we topped it off with a proxy hatchery in Game 3. So we're going to wait and see what Game 4 brings. Perhaps both these players do have something completely different to show us. But so far looking reasonably normal. There's been no pull down yet, and coL.CatZ is already at 13 supply, so I guess that rules out a reasonable number of stuff. The Overlord is going to see that everything is going close by air and is going to immediately wander over to close to the natural to see if the barracks is being built first or whether coL.qxc is going to attempt some sort of command center first shenanigans, which is probably not recommended if they're close by air at the moment. We do have this scout SCV. Is he going to go up? Or maybe he's going to build a proxy, either a proxy racks. Yeah, okay, there we go. Another proxy racks coming out from coL.qxc, favoring this 2 racks play, completely out of sight of the Overlord. And coL.CatZ has decided that he wishes to go command center hatchery first this game. So coL.qxc knows exactly where coL.CatZ is. That's why he hasn't sent an SCV into coL.CatZ base. The reason he knows that, of course, is because this Overlord popped up so early in the game that coL.qxc knows coL.CatZ could not possibly have come from any other position. The orbital command now going up, crucially without any gas. So we are going to see a gasless game so far. The pool going down after the hatchery for coL.CatZ, and still no gas from him either. So we're not going to see any sort of ultra-fast speedlings coming out of him. Ooh, and the scout is about to get picked off, although no, he's just going to leave it floating around the base. He can take a gas if he wants, because frankly coL.qxc isn't requiring gas at the moment. The proxy racks is going to constantly produce Marines, and the first couple of Marines are going to show up at the base at some point reasonably soon. The drones, of course, have sniffed this. coL.qxc did go a proxy racks last game as well, and this SCV is going to start building a bunker, but not before these 3 drones have a say in it. This, ooh, very, very nice placement from the Marine, positioning it between the cliff and the bunker, just to make sure that nothing can hit it. And all of a sudden, coL.CatZ has decided, actually, I'm not going to combat this with drones anymore. I'm just going to build a couple of spine crawlers. But coL.qxc's aggression is looking mighty fine here. He's continuing to build Marines, streaming them into the natural, and it looks like these spine crawlers aren't going to go up at all. 6lings do come out and are about to engage, but is it going to be enough? Oh no, the Marines do get inside the bunker, and I have to admit, coL.CatZ's position is looking very sketchy at this point. Those spine crawlers are going to finish, one of them on not very much health at all. I wonder if these Marines are going to finish it off. It does actually complete and starts picking away at that bunker. We do have the second spine crawler about to complete as well. coL.qxc deciding to go aggressive, though. He's not giving up that bunker. He's not about to salvage it. He's going to repair it with SCVs and see how much damage he can actually get done. Very, very good move, because coL.CatZ is forced to retreat with the spine crawler. He's now next to the hatchery, and wow, this is actually an incredible game. I suspect coL.qxc does have the upper hand in this situation. Of course, we have a reasonably healthy economy back home as well, and we have units reinforcing. The Marines just going to pop out whenever they please to attack the spine crawler. The second one does go down, and it looks like this hatchery is doomed. I would suggest that, barring any sort of unbelievable circumstance here, coL.qxc has definitely got this game for, and he's probably going to tie up this series 2-0. The third spine crawler that was in the process of being built now also going down. A couple of Marines heading into the main as well. No spine crawlers in the main because the defense was, of course, trying to be held at the natural. This hatchery is going to fall, and the Marines are just going to poke up, seize the Zerglings. They're just trying to buy time for this spine crawler to finish at this point. But as it currently stands, coL.qxc is going to expand. He's going to get an economic edge out of this. He's going to make sure that whatever advantage he has taken from this is going to stay. No crazy shenanigans this game. We aren't going to see any sort of unbelievable unorthodox play. And now the rest of the Marines and the SCVs are just going to push forward. Both Queens are about to go down. and it looks like this is curtains for CatZ. The spine crawler does finish, but these Marines can just walk straight around it and head straight into the mineral line. Both gases now being taken, but it doesn't look like that's going to be terribly fruitful. Indeed, every single drone stopping mining, and the spawning pool is going to get targeted. The drones and what remain of the Zerglings are going to come back for a counterattack, but it looks like the pool is going to go down. Focus fire on the pool! 2018 for 10 health, sick 2 health, and it does finally go down, but at the cost of QXC's entire army. So now we're going to see if this counterattack does anything. This is absolutely incredible play here. QXC, of course, sacrificing everything to get that pool completely destroyed. CatZ now rebuilding the pool and going for a swift link counterattack with no fewer than 9 Zerglings, but I wonder if that's going to be enough. Do we have a complete wall up? We do. Okay, so a couple of Marines is going to completely solve that. This supply depot was added a little bit later, and QXC is going to be just dandy. Oh dear. Okay, and CatZ in increasingly untenable position here. These bunkers, of course, still stand, preventing our Zerg player from going down to retake his natural. The spine crawler is going to be able to slowly get in range of these bunkers and start hitting them. But by the time that happens, QXC won't have just expanded. Well, he's going to expand twice. A very, very solid, simple move from QXC here. Highly, highly good. And I don't really see what CatZ can do to get back from this. The second pool is now back up. He is going to go for a fast layer, because at this time you're behind by so much, you might as well try some sort of funky move. But I really don't think it's going to matter too much at the end of the day. These bunkers are going to slowly go down. In fact, the Marines getting transferred and these bunkers being salvaged now, just to make sure that QXC has a nice solid position at the natural. These lings are also going to get slowly picked off. Very nice micro from the 3 Marines. This spine crawler is going to take up position at the high ground, but we have now got a full bunker outside the natural, and that's going to be very problematic, to say the least, for CatZ at the very near future. QXC now has a supply lead of 12. He has taken his natural expansion, and he also has a 3rd orbital command. He's going into 2 more barracks, a whole bunch of factories. He's got a tech lab going down on that. He's just going to do some sort of Marine tank push, I would assume. No starport going down from QXC just yet. He's looking to play a really nice, really safe, but incredibly threatening death blow here to the Zerg player, and I suspect there's absolutely nothing CatZ can do to stop it. Supply lead only increasing now because, of course, the economic advantage is starting to show from the Terran player. In fact, we even have the 3rd orbital command producing more SCVs and more getting transferred to the natural. So his population is going to explode incredibly quickly. The supply difference now up to 20. This Marine just going to patrol and make sure nothing's happening. We do have a Nidus network going down from CatZ because, well, why the hell not? And we have the Overlord here within sight of QXC's base. So we're going to see if this Nidus play comes to anything, but I suspect QXC should be able to hold just fine, getting a lot of add-ons for his buildings and building a reasonably large army. We've got Blue Flame Hellions coming, so he's not going to go directly for siege mode, and all he's going to be able to do is Nidus. Oh no, right next to this, oh, supply depot, come on, pull SCVs, do it, do it. No, QXC hasn't noticed! I don't really think this is going to do an incredible amount of damage, but he has noticed now. The single Hellion going to get... Oh, dear. Okay, we do have everything streaming out, but unfortunately QXC just has way too much stuff. The Zerglings coming in a line, one at a time. This Nidus network going to do approximately no damage to QXC. I'm surprised QXC didn't react a little bit earlier, but let's be honest, it doesn't look like he needed to. So all seems to be well. The Nidus network was a good play, and it could have done some crippling damage if QXC reacted any later than he actually did. Does a quick scan now, confirms that the Nidus network is there, isn't going to see much else, but we do have infestors popping out with pathogen glands, so this is going to be quite interesting. Going to try and stave off the push for as long as he can. Unfortunately, the supply is 32 to 84, and I really don't see CatZ holding this whatsoever. QXC might as well expand to the 3rd and 4th locations and probably take the gold as well while he's at it. A couple of siege tanks wouldn't go amiss, but he could also just do a straight-up Marine Hellion push. I suspect that would also be strong enough at this stage of the game. The Overlord that allowed the Nidus network to go down in the first place, of course, is still there. QXC, I suspect, still doesn't know it's there, or probably thinks the Overlord was down here somewhere, but with that sensor tower is going to very, very quickly find out that actually it's right there. So he knows everything that's going on now. That sensor tower is going to stop anything else going down, and we do have some infestors out for CatZ. Creep spread going out into the middle of the map, but of course he still can't expand. He hasn't been able to sneak a drone past either, and coL.qxc is looking for any hidden expansion that might be on the right side of the map. Meanwhile, the number of mules in coL.qxc's base surpassing 9,000, and really, this game. We all love this game, but I just really want to see what coL.CatZ is going to do now, because I'm interested to see if he can put a dent in what coL.qxc is trying to do. So we are loading more and more Zerglings into the Nidus network, possibly to attempt a second drop, and we have got a couple of burrowed infestors going towards the natural. We do have a missile turret down in the natural, though, so he's not going to be able to get too close. A missile turret down in both bases. coL.qxc playing it incredibly safe, incredibly solidly, and oh dear. Did you hear a Nidus? I heard a Nidus. Where's the Nidus? Oh. Okay, well that was exciting. Nidus network just outside. Presumably he's going to try and sneak a drone past and maybe build some new bases over at the right-hand side of the map, because he's not able to take his natural, but we're going to have to see. Meanwhile, those infested Terrans are... Oh dear, I think coL.qxc has caught on to what coL.CatZ is trying to do. Will that infestor survive? The answer is no. He gets absolutely toasted alive by those Hellions, and it looks like coL.qxc has decided to launch a small offensive here. That creep tumor does get picked off, even though it was invisible, because the Hellions did actually place that last hit on top of those Zerglings. So, just going to maintain some map control here. No roaches out just yet. We've got a planetary... we have got stim, combat shield... Not combat shield, sorry. +1 armor. We've got some tanks coming out from coL.qxc now as well. No roach warren going down for coL.CatZ. And really, it's just a matter of time. We do have coL.CatZ trying to take the gold base, actually. A reasonably bold move, and I highly like it. Also got a couple of spine crawlers attempting to hold in coL.qxc, who's decided that, well, actually, I'll just make a base in your base. Okay, planetary fortress at the natural seems reasonable enough, except it's your opponent's natural, so it really doesn't matter. Now at 121 supply to 46, coL.qxc is really just messing around now, I suspect. But coL.CatZ doesn't, of course, necessarily know that. I mean, coL.CatZ is doing everything in his power to try and harass the Terran here, but it's really just not enough. He's going to see if he can take out this sensor tower, so that he might be able to sneakily do another Nidus network, maybe somewhere here, and hope that that works out later on in the game. These infested Terrans, yep, are going to take the sensor tower down. Bit of a small victory there for him. Meanwhile, these spine crawlers slowly going to move back to within range of these bunkers, and going to see if he can whistle down coL.qxc's position at the natural. If coL.qxc's not careful, and he doesn't preserve his advantage quite as well as he thinks he does, he might be able at some point in the near future give coL.CatZ an opening back into this game. coL.CatZ, of course, is also taking the gold. A sensor tower now placed at coL.CatZ's natural by coL.qxc, sees that coL.CatZ is also taking the gold, and I think that's going to prompt coL.qxc to do some sort of attack, because he realizes he can't allow this huge economic lead that he's built up to get whittled down in any way, shape, or form. He's more than double the supply of coL.CatZ still. In fact, he's nearly triple the supply, but at the end of the day, if you do nothing, your opponent will still try and win the game. So more burrowed infestors popping along through the middle of the map. That's a huge, juicy fungal target, but unfortunately those tanks would make mincemeat. And, oh no, it looks like that missile turret out in the middle of the map is going to spell toast for those infestors, and that's going to be BM instead of a GG. coL.qxc ties the series up 2 games to 2.